Hey guys, welcome back to my second channel. I am normally Blaire White, but today I am Blaire Black. Make sure you subscribe to both channels. This is actually intended to be a part 2 to a video I uploaded just a couple days ago on my main channel where I was talking about is it or is it not transphobic to not be attracted to trans people? If you want to know my thoughts on that, link is below. But I feel like so much of the conversation around like trans attraction or lack thereof is always focused on the lack thereof. And it's always focused on like, well, if you're not attracted to trans people, are you transphobic, etc. And I just kind of feel like, why does no one ever have any interesting conversations about people who are attracted to trans people and what that means in regards to sexuality or like what dating is like in the trans community and love and all that nonsense. By the way, please don't mind Bella. She is trying to get in this industry and she really wanted to be on camera, if only in the back. She's very thirsty for camera time. So today I'm going to be talking all about trans attracted men specifically because I don't have any experience with trans attracted women. Actually a few experiences. Joey's here. He's going to be off camera kind of like butting in when he wants to. I do have a few experiences with like women hitting on me. It's been really weird for me personally.
Yeah, just last week in Vegas.
I know. And no shade. You know what I mean? I'm not into that. But very quickly, this video is sponsored by Adam and Eve. Roll it. Before we go any further in this video, I want to thank Adam and Eve for sponsoring me today. Adam and Eve is America's favorite adult store, and you guys can use the code MOMENT for 50% off any one item with free shipping in the US and Canada with some exclusions applying. Adam and Eve is amazing. They have 24-hour customer service every single day of the week, and 20% of their profits go to help fighting the spread of HIV around the globe. They've been in business almost 50 years, and they are everything. Check them out. Okay, so before we go in, I feel like it's very important to make the distinction between trans attracted men and tranny chasers. Tranny chasers are fetishists, and trans attracted men have this attraction to trans people and typically see them as like serious life partners, etc. Joey's an example. What? Joey wants to butt in. What?
And a lot of times, if you're a trans-attracted man, you're just going to get labeled as a chaser regardless.
Yeah, that's the other thing, is that a lot of trans girls I've noticed will label any man who knows they're trans and is still attracted to them a chaser, which for me is really, really ridiculous. I feel like unless he's really acting like a chaser and wanting to hide the relationship and not be with you and only wants, you know, to get it in, then it's like, why are you blocking people who could potentially be partners? You know, I've met trans girls who have told me, oh, I would never be with a guy who's into trans women. And I'm just kind of like, why? Why would you not want to be with someone who's into what you are? That doesn't make any type of sense to me. It really does not. And on the topic of people who are attracted to trans people, I feel like there's this really big misconception that like, there's not a lot of that. I feel like it's just something that is incredibly still taboo and something that a lot of men really do get dragged really hardcore when they're out about wanting to be with trans women on the internet, etc. And so it creates this culture of keeping it a secret. Even for the ones who may be open in their real life, they won't be public like online. And so it gives this, I feel like, false image that like there are no suitors for trans women. And let me tell you something, and people can be offended all they want for me saying this, even the most busted trans women that I have ever met, like, still have, like, a sea of, like, men going after them. Like, am I lying?
I don't know about busted ones.
He's lying because I know some of the trans girls that he was interested in before me, and they are busted. So I don't know what that says about me.
They're not busted. A lot of people consider them to be very good looking.
Anyways, do you ever think about the fact that if, God forbid, you and I were to break up and then you went back to dating like biological women, do you think like there might be some women who would have an issue with the fact that you
Hell yeah.
have dated me being
Hell
trans
yeah.
and all that? Really?
Yeah, dude, chicks keep it real. Like, they'll just be like thinking I'm out trying to score some dick every time I'm like out at work or something.
I think a lot of women would probably have a hang up over like a trans woman being your ex. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think because maybe the assumption would be that like you would always end up wanting to go back to that, right?
Yeah, can you imagine being a woman and getting cheated on with like a tranny?
Ooh, that would be rough.
It would be rough because it's like
it would trigger a lot of insecurities, I feel.
Right.
And we're just being real. I feel like this is a conversation people would like choose to be offended by, but I'm literally just being so real right now. Like I think a lot of biological women would have an issue with it.
Yeah.
Not all, obviously. And then all the commenters from all my like amazing female fans would be like, I wouldn't. Of course you wouldn't, because y'all are amazing. But a lot of the general public would maybe feel differently. Mm-hmm. And I feel like I have been in relationships. I've been in 3 relationships, and they've been like the full spectrum of trans attracted men. The first one was, he was very, very insecure about it, was literally kept me as a secret, literally would have me like hide in a bedroom when the parents came over to the house, and like super insecure about it. Like, we were happy, but it didn't work because I was kept a secret. The second relationship is another part of the spectrum, which is men who don't really know what trans is until they meet you. Like, literally, my ex, I don't know if he was just like not super educated or what, but he didn't even know what transgender meant when we first met. Like, didn't know what it meant, didn't know if it was like an orientation or like what it was. And that one didn't work out, partially because he ended up cheating on me with a biological woman, which is like my biggest insecurity and fear. And then this third relationship, which is my fiance now, Joey, that one worked out perfectly because he is attracted to trans women, knows it, is confident about it. Like, I've met his whole family. Y'all know. A very, very real relationship. So, you know, I've dated the entire spectrum, so I know what they all are kind of like. The ones who know it but hate it, the ones who don't know it but try it, and the ones who know it and are into it and accept it. And those are the ones, trans women watching, that you have to date. Only those ones. Unless you're just trying to like F around when you're young and have fun. In which that case, do whatever you want, just be safe. So my experience with men who are into trans women, there are like a few consistencies. Like, I've never personally met one that has previously been with men, other than a couple maybe bisexual ones that I can't even remember in my head, but I'm sure I've met. And there's 2 types. There are the ones that are sort of new to it, and so it's a bit experimental and will sometimes treat you like an experiment, which is not healthy, especially for someone who's been done with their transition for a minute, like myself. And then there are men who have experience with it, know what they want, are okay and accept what they want. And those are the kind of men that I date. I would not date anything other than someone who is completely confident and come to terms with it and like is willing to be open and there's no insecurities at all. Like, I would never accept anything less than that because I've fixed my insecurities about who I am. So I definitely would not want to date a man who has any insecurities about what I am, if that makes sense. I also personally am more attracted to men who are exclusively interested in and date trans women, even more so than men who date biological women and trans women. Like, I feel like maybe that's my own insecurity speaking though, that like I would maybe always have it in the back of my mind that if you are into me but also into biological women, that you'd maybe want to go back to that eventually. And that's my own insecurity speaking. So I don't know. I've always said I feel like men who date trans women almost have a bigger stigma on them than trans women. Like, I really do feel that way. I feel like I see more people getting hate, more men who are open about dating trans women. Like, you have like fat content on your Instagram like every day.
Every single day.
Every day. And then they're all gonna go do it more now, which is like whatever. But I don't get that. I really don't get that.
Somebody told me to go sit on Blaire's dick this morning on Twitter.
Oh my God.
That's why I don't do the internet stuff as much.
But I mean, that's a valid point that like I really don't get that. Like, I don't get called a fat online really. Like, every once in a blue moon. But like, even out of like the thousands of comments that are coming in daily for me, I never really see that. This video was very ranty. It was very impromptu. That's how I like to keep these videos on Blaire Black. Definitely, you guys, make sure you subscribe to this channel as well as my main channel. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter. Just those 2. I actually post on there way more than on here, so you gotta follow those to keep up with me.
I'm thinking like maybe I could just elaborate on my channel, maybe for guys that are interested, because there's no handbook, and I get messages.
You need to make a video on this. Why? I'm like doing this for you. You gotta make a video.
Honestly, no, I get questions all the time because it's like, where do I start? Where do I even meet a trans person? Like, am I gay? Like, I've got.
Do a video. For real. It'd be good.
Okay.
You always talk about it too. That's not the first time you brought it up.
It takes a lot to do a video on this.
And I love you guys. Bye.